My dear avid book reader, it's indeed great of you to have read up to this chapter. A word of thanks is in order. Yes, believe me, the chapter on overcoming buyer's commitment to the competitor objection is a very challenging task indeed. However, what you are going to read is indeed a big eye-opener for you and me. Honest. Jokes aside, trust me, within the contents of this chapter you will be armed with tactic and techniques to overcome such objections effectively. True? Wait a minute, before rushing hastily into this chapter allows me to whet your appetite first. Okay, in essence, this chapter's previews highlights the issue that buyer does actually feel trapped when they claim they say they are committed to your competitor. In fact, this is an opportunity for sales reps to assess how they match up against competitors. Moreover, this preview is incomplete without mentioning the 7 best ways how a salesperson can overcome buyer's commitment to a competitor objection and yet get the sales. Believable? You bet? Without further ado, let's jump straight into the chapter proper. Shall we? Thanks. Chapter 7. How to overcome buyer's commitment to a competitor objection. Quote, "If you want to succeed and leave your competitors behind, you need great plans and even greater strategies." By Pooja Agnihotri. She is former secretary/compliance officer at Ceylon Exploration Technology. In truth, when a prospect says this, it usually means they feel trapped. This gives you an opportunity to come to the rescue. It's no secret, when hearing your prospect is already working with a rival can be unsettling. Furthermore, this kind of sales objection does provide an opportunity for sales reps to assess how they match up against competitors, plus even lure prospects away from them. To further successfully handle such objection, here are 7 proven and effective ways to respond when a prospect is already working with a competitor. Make no mistakes, it does work. Trust me. Here goes. Way number 1. That's good to hear. Competitor is a great company. In fact, we share a lot of mutual customers. Companies that use both of our offerings often find that our product makes accomplishing X goal much easier, since it has unique benefit 1 and unique benefit 2. This response lets you differentiate your product from the competition without slinging mud. Plus, it opens the door for another conversation down the line. Once you've won the prospect's trust, you can start talking about a switch if that's in the buyer's best interest. Way number 2. At this point, I'm not asking you to rip anything out. I'd just like the opportunity to show you how we're different and how we've provided additional value to our customers. I can present some use cases of other companies like yours who work with us and with competitor X. When is a good time to schedule a follow-up call? According to Brian Gonzalez, Business Development Manager at Procore, this response will give you the opportunity to prove what your product does differently and ultimately show the prospect why they need it. Way number 3. Got it. Can I ask what type of evaluation process you go through to be sure you're getting the best service available? As president of Business by Phone, Art Sobczak explains, you need to plant doubt in the prospect's mind before they'll ever consider changing vendors. They probably haven't thought about their decision to use the competition since they signed the contract. This question will have them wondering whether it's still the right choice. Way number 4. Have they ever let you down? Founder of Trigger Event Selling Craig Elias recommends using this question to challenge the prospect's status quo. If the prospect says yes, follow up with, how did that impact your business? Finally, ask what the vendor did, if anything, to make up for the issue and prevent it from happening again. Once you know more about the letdown, you can ask if they would like to work with a more reliable vendor they can have confidence in, Elias writes. Way number 5. That's great. What do you like best about working with competition? Asking the prospect to think about all the reasons they love the competition probably seems like a bad idea. But sales strategist Dan Fisher says this question actually prompts his prospects to explain what they didn't like about their vendors. The trick? You have to be patient. No matter what they say in response, wait 7 to 10 seconds, Fisher says. The silence will become uncomfortable, and that's when the prospect will often offer up a negative comment or concern. Way number 6. I'm glad you're dealing with X challenge. Recognize the importance of doing Y. How's it going? The first part of this answer validates the prospect, while the second gets them to open up. Once they're talking about their situation, you can figure out how happy they are with their current vendor. What's working well? What's not? Pay special attention to complaints that could be solved with your product. Mentioning you're a former user gives you instant credibility. In addition, many prospects respond well to this calm, friendly approach. Again, the goal is to simply get them talking about their situation. Way number 7. That's great. I'm wondering, however, if you're still struggling to overcome X challenge. I ask because I saw you posted something along those lines on LinkedIn, tweeted about it, downloaded one of our ebooks on that, etc. I actually have a couple suggestions for you related to that challenge. Would it make sense to schedule a call to discuss them? Of course, not every buyer will be so kind as to advertise displeasure with their current provider through a negative review or critical social media post. But if you take the time to research before reaching out and analyze the prospect's online behavior, you might get wise to a not-so-perfect fit. For example, I'm curious to know what's their average response time when the network goes down, or I'm curious to know, does your account manager call just to check in? When the prospect answers no to a question, Schultz recommends digging deeper to find ways you may be able to improve on their current service. Now that we all know the tactics and techniques to overcome the objection of the buyer being tied up your competitors, we should admit it indeed a challenging task to overcome such objections. Not only that, it's a reminder which reveal the bearing facts that we need to focus all the more of applying the said tactics and techniques. True? You bet? To conclude, the summary of this chapter tells us again the problem of buyers actually feeling trapped when they say they are committed to your competitor. Again, when faced with such objection, we must see this as an opportunity for us to assess how we compare to our competitors. Not forgetting, this chapter in question is incomplete without mentioning the top 7 ways you and I can break the buyer's bond with a competitor's. Being responsible reader, we look in a mirror and ask, how can we make use of this info to benefit us and others? My humble answer is master these tips and techniques to overcome such objection. Possible? You bet? To end this chapter with a big bang, do read carefully the memorial words by Nancy Pearcey. She is an American evangelical author on the Christian worldview. She says, competition is always a good thing. It forces us to do our best. A monopoly renders people complacent and satisfied with mediocrity. End of chapter.